I'm not really interested in that.
Your woman is like one of the biggest statisticals you can have as a man. Your woman represents you when you're not around.
Your wife represents you even when you're not there.
Yeah.
The woman is a mirror of my behavior. A woman is a mirror of my actions.
Men judge men based off their woman. If a guy comes in and his woman is stunning and she looks beautiful and classy, all of a sudden I'm like, what does that guy do?
Men using women to validate them and to bolster their their social status is a tale as old as time at this point. But I more just want to show you how men actually talk about it so that we can see how men talk about it, because men don't like say it the way that they actually like the way that it plays out. Men don't actually say it that way, right? Men talk about it as if it's like, you know, like, hey man, you know, your wife represents you, and like this, it's this virtuous thing. But if men truly believed that your wife represented you, then you would believe that you represent your wife when you go out. But you don't think that. When you go out, you act the ass. When you online, you double tapping on every woman, pretty girl, that fucking video that you see. You don't care if I see that you are liking up all of these women's pictures. You don't care if I see you reposting twerk videos or you reposting some scantily clad woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't care about that shit. You don't care when we go out and y'all be out in public flirting with other women and stuff like that. You don't, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, men don't look at it like that. Only women, in men's mind, only your wife represents you. But that's not what men really mean. So let's get in.
Anytime a guy brings his girl, I look at how his girl behaves. She tells me everything I need to know about that guy. She is a spitting mirror image of her man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If she's quiet, she's polite, etc., I know that guy has her shit together. If she's loud, obnoxious, rambunctious, whatever, I know that guy's life is in shambles.
And here's exactly what I'm saying in real time. What did I say? If your wife represents you, and based on those characteristics, you judge that man and you go, his life must be in shambles, then what the fuck are you doing? Because listen to the person he described. Listen to what he said, like, oh man, this means this man's life is in shambles. Listen.
Anytime a guy brings his girl, I look at how his girl behaves. She tells me everything I need to know about that guy. She is a spitting mirror image of her man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Only if you marry your sister or your mom.
Okay? If she's quiet, she's polite, etc., I know that guy has her shit together. If she's loud, obnoxious, rambunctious, whatever, I know that guy's life is in shambles.
But you are all of those things you just said. I know you don't have a wife. You would never. But what I'm saying about men is, why won't you be those things? Like, if that's what you feel like represents, you know what I'm saying, represents the husband well, shouldn't those be the same qualities that represent the wife well? Men don't, but that's the thing, men don't care. You don't care how you represent your wife. You represent yourself, but your wife represents you, right? Interesting. Also, what's odd is listening to a man say stuff like, you know, like, your wife should be a mirror image of you is weird. Like, me and my wife are not the same. We're not the same. We don't look alike. We don't act alike. You know what I mean? Like, we are different people. I am a different type of person than my wife. In some ways, we are alike, but in so many ways, we are nothing alike. And it's perfectly okay, because you don't need to be a mirror image of the person you're with. You need to reflect that person's their morality. You need to like me as a parent. I know me and my wife have to share similar ideas about parenting, right? I know we need to share similar ideas of surrounding infidelity, labor in the home, so on and so forth. We definitely need to be on the same page there, but we don't need to act alike. She doesn't need to be my mirror. Like, that's fucking weird. She's her own person. Like, you think we get wives from the Wife Factory, tailor made for it? Well, he might actually do that, but for the rest of you, no, there's no wives from the Wife Factory, bro.
Moving away from like any personal situation though, but it brings up an interesting point when I was being asked around, like a woman being wifey material. Another thing is that the point I didn't bring up is that your wife represents you even when you're not there.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm not physically present somewhere, like I wouldn't even want to, the idea of like my wife, like talking down about, like she should be like your biggest cheerleader, biggest support,
Yes,
not say a
exactly.
bad word about you in public, not clown you in public, so on and so
Maybe
forth.
behind the scenes, but not on a platform like this with 13K people watching.
No. And if you're not there, you shouldn't be thinking, oh, is she like talking crap about me or whatever. You should,
Yeah,
you
should
should just be
never
secure
worry
in that
about
regard.
that.
And it should be vice versa by the same. Like I'm not gonna, if it's just my girlfriend, right? Like if I got a girlfriend, I'm not gonna be, I will not say a bad word publicly.
You would never even think about it.
Now, this dude, I liked this video as well. I shared it. He's saying more, the way he's talking about it is more more holistic, right? He's like, yo, this is how it should be. Like, I shouldn't be doing this to her. And he's talking about like bad mouthing your woman or whatever. Like, I get that. If that's what these other dudes were talking about, I would understand that. But that's not what that's not what these other dudes are talking about. They're talking about how other men are going to judge you based on the woman you have. And it ain't about what she's saying necessarily, or even what she's doing. Well, it could be whatever, but it's really for the male gaze. Like you go out and your woman is dressed a certain way and she's talking a certain way, like the dude Myron, what he was talking about, right? Like she's loud and she's all whatever. The men are going to judge you a certain way, right? That's what the men are talking about. But this dude was actually making sense. So you guys can see what I'm saying. Like, this is okay. Like, I understand that, like, that this is real. And like you said, it goes both ways, right? But if you listen to the difference from what he's saying versus what these other dudes are saying, you will see that they actually are not talking about it from this perspective. This is a healthy perspective.
Men judge men based off their woman. If a guy comes in and his woman is stunning and she looks beautiful and classy, all of a sudden, I'm like, what does that guy do? On the opposite end, if a woman that I feel is showing or showcasing some level of disrespect to her man, I have less respect for that man.
And why? This is exactly what I'm saying. So men are always worried about what other men are thinking about them. They're always worried about what other men are thinking about them. Oh, if you're like, I'm more concerned with my wife disrespecting me. I don't give a fuck about what this dude thinks about me. If my wife is disrespectful, that's a problem. If you think she's disrespectful and you have less respect for me, who fucking cares? Why would I care about that? But most men do. Most men are doing all of these things to not attract women or not be in a healthy relationship with a woman. They're doing it so that men will praise them, so that men will respect them, right? The social currency is what they're looking for.
A man don't want to date another man at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? So if you out here trying to be my homeboy, I'm not really interested in that.
Your woman is like one of the biggest statisticals you can have as a man. Your woman represents you when you're not around. So if she's, mouthing off.
He said a woman is one of your biggest status symbols. Exactly.
Statisticals you can have as a man. Your woman represents you when you're not around. So if she's, mouthing off or acting bitchy or disrespecting you in front of other people, how does that make you look as a guy? Makes you look like a chump, really. Right. If she's adoring you, idolizing you in a way, like looking up to you, propping you up, that makes you look like a fucking man. And everyone else will respect you for that.
Exactly. Doing it for the male gaze. All of this is for the male gaze, right? This is crazy. The men are saying it out loud. Yeah, I do this. I want a woman to respect me so that I can get respect from men. I want my woman to be beautiful and attractive so that I can get more respect from men. Not so I can have a beautiful, smart, intelligent woman for my, for myself. No. So that I can attract men. Never forget what Mr. Cam Newton just recently said.
I went to a strip club for women. I always went to strip clubs for for God.
We went to a strip club.
No diddy. I'm a competitor. I wasn't gonna spend no money if I didn't see nobody else spending money. As soon as I seen somebody thinking that they got money, okay, you spending 5, I'm gonna spend 6. If you gonna spend 10, I'm gonna spend 15. And then we're gonna have a rain off.
Yeah, I love it.
So
I say you do that in Onyx.
So that's my thing. It's like, I don't go to strip clubs for chicks, even though I want decoration. I was a competitor, still am a competitor, to think like, nigga, you think you got it, but you don't got it.
So Mr. Cam Newton said he did it for the fellas. He did it for the boys. He went to the stripper club for boys. So he can stun on the men's. So he can show the men, look what I can do. You can't do what I can do. You can't keep up with me. Interesting. Now, this is a thing. Like, now we've heard what the men are saying about it, right? Let's identify what it is, shall we?
Like, these motherfuckers is gay. I admit, and I realize they're homosocials, not homosexuals. When I
Social dominance theory. Does he actually like you, or is he just secretly in love with the boys? Shockingly enough, there actually is a term for this, and it is homosociality. Psychologists like Eve Sedgwick coined the term homosociality to describe men prioritizing male approval. And guess what their favorite prop is? You. It is of no surprise that we live in a patriarchal society, and this is where the social dominance theory comes in. Psychologists like Sedanius and Pareto explain that men often compete for status and hierarchies. In many cases, you're the symbol of their success. It's not about building a connection with you. It's about showing you off to other men as proof of their dominance. Maslow taught us that humans crave belonging and esteem. But here's the thing. A lot of men get that need of belonging fulfilled by their friend group, not their partner. That's why you may feel like sometimes the approval of their friend group matters more than your actual feelings. It's not just you imagining it. This is literally how their needs are structured. Sedgwick also coined the term homosocial desire. It's when men form deep bonds with other men and channel their energy into gaining male approval. Women often get caught in the crossfire, used as props to reinforce these bonds. This isn't just academic, it's happening everywhere. Let's not forget Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. Freud argued that some men never fully detach from the need for paternal validation. When there is a lack of a paternal figure, or a lack of action in that paternal figure, fatherless, as a substitute for that authority, which means that your approval comes secondary to the boys, which means that he technically is playing for the wrong team, figuratively speaking, if he's more concerned about the validation of his boys rather than yours. Fact of the matter is, this is amplified in the Western world, where individualism and melting pot culture means less structure around traditional gender roles. It's why things like frat culture, hookups, and flexing on social media exist. All that behavior is about competing for social clout amongst other men. Now let's contrast this with other faiths that emphasize structure and community. In Islam, men are taught to see women as a trust, as an amana. Women are more seen as a responsibility to protect, not show off. The best of you are those who are best to their women. Notice how the focus is on care and respect, not male competition. And just because I'm saying that this is not common amongst traditional Muslim communities does not mean that Muslim men in the West are not doing it. They most definitely are. In the West, where there's more emphasis on individual success, men are often socialized to prove their masculinity through dominance and conquest. Social dominance theory states that men compete for status and women oftentimes become the symbol of that status. It's nothing personal, it's systemic. That doesn't mean that it's okay though. You might think that he's just confident and ambitious and charismatic, and really he's just performing for the boys. Ask yourself, is he only with you to brag about you with the boys on PS5 at 3 in the morning? Or does he actually like you? Have you ever been in a situation like this, which I'm guessing a lot of you have? It's okay. This is a safe space. What was the worst thing that he did? What was your final straw? What suddenly brought to light this homosociality?
That, all except for the Islam part, because we know that Islamic men are terrible in the East, in the West, in the North, and in the South. So are Christian men. So men, period. But yeah, everything else she said, though, was spot on, and it just perfectly encapsulates what all these other dudes are saying. So every time I hear men talking about your wife as a reflection of you, on the surface, I'm like, yeah, I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of, because I do believe that. Like I do represent, my wife does represent me, and I do represent my wife, but I don't look at it like for men, like it's just in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's only if people know that she's married to me. You know what I mean? Like, but like if my wife is around my friends, yes, she's representing me, right? And I'm representing her. We're around our friends. But when my wife is like out at Target, she ain't representing me. She represents her fucking self. Whatever she does, that's what she does. She fucking flips out at the counter like a Karen. That's on her. ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't no fucking Karen. I ain't no Ken. I don't flip out on people in public. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm looking at is my behavior. I'm looking at, like I said before, me going out and not doing things that will disrespect my wife, as far as like flirting with other women, picking up other women, maybe being violent, even things of that nature, real heinous shit. You know what I'm saying? But and the same thing for her. If she's going out, she needs to, represent. She can't be out there wilding, giving niggas lap dances and shit like that. Same thing online. Like, men don't actually believe this because online, men are the biggest weirdos. Married men are the biggest weirdos. I have definitely been caught up in that shit. No doubt about it. Go look at a married man's following list. Go to TikTok. Go to TikTok. And look at who the married men that are following, or the men that proclaim to be married on the app. Go look at who they're following. I'm not saying all, but you will see so many of them following such problematic content creators and pages. So problematic. Whether it be women, you know what I'm saying, like, dress a certain way or whatever, like, I don't care, baddies or whatever, following baddies, to just following problematic content creators that make bad content that is corrosive and destructive. It's not just with the women. I don't look at who men follow or who people follow just based on, like, oh, if they're cheating or whatever. I'm looking at it politically. I'm looking at it socially. I'm looking at it all. You know what I mean? And I don't read into everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you follow a bunch of trad wife pages, I'm not going to assume, I'm saying if you're a woman and you follow a bunch of trad wife pages, I'm not assuming you want to be a trad wife. You just may find trad wife content compelling. You may be hate watching it for all I know. I follow a bunch of red pillars. Everybody knows I'm anti-red pill. Literally says it in my bio, and I do it every day. I literally, every single day of my life, I wake up and go hard against the red pill, right? But I follow red pill content creators. I want to know what they are saying. I follow Donald Trump. I would never in my fucking life think about voting for Donald Trump. That's nuts. So I'm not saying that, but also I'm not following women who are twerking and who are dressed half naked in 90% of their videos or whatever. And I don't repost problematic shit, and I don't share, you know what I mean? Like, I don't do stuff like that. Not only do I not want to do it because it represents me poorly, but definitely, like, with the woman and stuff, like doing things as far as, like, for the female gaze, liking women's pictures and stuff like that. That is for the female gaze. That's for that woman. You're trying to get the attention of that woman, right? Commenting inappropriate stuff on a woman's post or anything like that. Yeah, I'm doing, like, that would be for the female gaze. I don't do that, but I know so many married men and men in committed relationships that do. Practice what you preach, fellas. That's all I'm saying.